You are watching or listening to Purham and Associates. For more information, go to rpurham.com or follow me on all social media platforms and subscribe at RPURHAM. Thanks. See you over there. Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to Permanent Associates. Hey, I hope y'all had a fantastic weekend and you stayed out of trouble and didn't do anything crazy. Or you did something crazy, but just haven't got caught yet. Either way. Hey, we got a very special guest with us today. He's I would say a returning guest. He comes on every few months or so, give us updates as to what's going on with his phenomenal organization. We have none other than Sam Anthony, and Sam, he possesses over 2 decades of experience in the online media industry, propelled by his conviction that the internet would revolutionize traditional media and usher in a more vibrant and adaptable media landscape. He has played a pivotal role in designing and implementing technology that has thousands of journalists to seamlessly transition into this new digital realm. Sam is dedicated to establishing a media platform that unveils the truth without censorship. His mission is to restore the power of the press to the people where he firmly believes it rightfully belongs. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing some, presenting to others, Sam Anthony. Good morning, sir. Welcome back. How's it going?
Hey, Randy, good to be here, man.
Absolutely.
I like that intro.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey,
Did we freeze?
Am I frozen? Oh, wait. Am I good?
No, you're good now.
Oh, okay.
You did first.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so tell us what's been going on and give us an update as to what you've been up to the last few months.
Well, Randy, as you know, we have a platform called Your News. We are a daily, like the Miami Herald or Chicago Tribune, but in every city in the United States. And I don't need to sell you on the fact that the media industry is collapsing. There are literally 500,000 freelance journalists in the U.S. on LinkedIn. Those are all part of the downsizing of the legacy media. There's a couple 100,000 students that don't have work. So we're in the process of transitioning them to our online platform where they can do local news all over the United States. And since we've last talked, we now have roughly 5,500 news reporters all over the United States. Our reach last month was 1.4 million unique visitors. And, basically it's the more content you bring in, the bigger the audience grows. So if I want to double my traffic, I double my content creators. So we're in the process of building the largest media company in the world.
Nice. And my hat's off to you. I salute you and congratulations on that endeavor, because you're right. I'm being in this industry, you got to follow other content creators, you got to follow the media and the different news cycles and stuff like that that's going on. And the quality is just gone to trash for the legacy media side of the house. You see more people turn into social media platforms to get their news rather than the legacy media. And so this platform, Your News, it gives those content creators that captive audience, that dedicated source of legitimacy to saying, hey, you can go to Your News and watch my content or follow my content there. In addition to Facebook, you can still follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, because it's all shareable from those outlets. And so tell me, with that, the media the legacy media is, I guess you could say, coercing these social media platforms to restrict that kind of content from being, shared or being allowed on their platforms. What are y'all doing to like help revolutionize, or I guess you could say, beat that trend that's going on right now?
So what content are you talking about? You talking about conservative content?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yes, that seems to be the most targeted one.
Well, here's the thing. Randy, 99% of the content we bring onto the platform has nothing to do with politics. It's local news. Mm-hmm. So, politics is a very small piece. What's bigger is the local content. Remember, in the United States, we have roughly 20,000 cities, 3,100 or 3,200 counties, right? And news is either city, county, market, state, regional, or national. So we're building an army of local news reporters all over the United States. So they're not censoring the stuff that we put up, because it could be the high school football game or the city council meeting, or it could be a school board meeting, or it could be the bank robbery, or local robbery that happened in Chicago or Miami, that kind of stuff. So from the political side, we're a platform. So for me, news is either who, what, when, where, why. And if you're going to write a story and keep your opinion out of it, you should just put out the facts and let the public form their own conclusions. So news, to me, really should just be, here's what happened, form your own conclusion, right?
Right. Exactly. Absolutely. And for the audience, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a brief, I guess you could say, preview as to what the website looks like and what we're discussing. And here it is right here. You see it says your news, know everything. And when let me get that out the way. You can put in you can change the location, because I'm assuming this goes based on like your IP addresses, so it gives you curated content to where you're at. And you can see the national stories. You can see everything, the different commercials, different advertisers, and whatnot. And this is yournews.com, ladies and gentlemen, and like Mr. Anthony said here, you can see content from everybody to everything. It's a one-stop shop for news source. And considering that the content that or I should say the contributor of the content is being honest and straight down the middle, would you say that all of the content that's on your website is 100% like that's the facts and there's no spin type of thing, or you can expect that there is some leniency one way or the other?
So we don't control what people are reporting, and we don't fact check anything, and the reason for that is we're a platform. The public will let us know if somebody's lying. And Randy, not for nothing, but you're a broadcast journalist, right? So if you were lying to people, how fast would your audience figure it out and leave you?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing a broadcaster or a content creator has is their credibility. And the moment you lose it, it's over.
Yeah.
So, these content creators aren't really interested in lying. They're interested in putting the truth out. Now, that being said, if they start putting their opinions in, it goes in opinions. That's all.
Yep.
So, it's pretty simple to do. So, you may see a little bit of bias in some of these stories, but at the end of the day, you were looking at all the national news. We're a complete citizen-powered press. What you didn't see is all the local news. Okay, and all the local news in Dallas, all the local news in Austin, all the local news in Miami, all the local news in Phoenix. So we do news in almost every market in the United States. And the more content creators we bring on, the larger the audience grows. And the beauty is they don't have anywhere to go, Randy.
Yeah.
I mean, because Facebook is not the place to put the high school football game or the bank robbery or the car crash, right? I mean, it's not. It's really more for just national stuff that has national appeal.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Our niche is the local news.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. And to dovetail back real quick on the people being part of this, the everyday citizen. I'm gonna play this video of one of your colleagues here, and she talks about how students, college students that are in the press world, how they can come on board to this. So, ladies and gentlemen, check this out right here.
Hello, student journalists. You've chosen to pursue one of the most dynamic and impactful careers imaginable. Journalism. Right now, you're living in the most exciting time to be in this field. Why? Well, because journalism is evolving, and you have the chance to shape its future. Let's be honest, the legacy media, as we know it, is dying. The structures are crumbling. The newspapers, networks, and outlets that once dominated the industry have become stagnant, disconnected, and irrelevant to the communities they once served. If you agree, they likely won't be hiring you, but that's not a bad thing. It's an opportunity. You didn't enroll in journalism school to sit at a desk and recycle press releases for a dying institution. You're here because you're passionate about storytelling, about uncovering the truth, and about making a difference. That drive, that fire, is what will propel you into the next era of journalism. Back in the day, the local news reporter was the trusted voice in their community, the person everyone turned to for reliable information. Well, that need hasn't gone away. If anything, it's gotten stronger than ever. But the players have changed. Now you have the chance to step into that role. And this is where yournews.com comes into play. This platform empowers journalists like you to take control of your careers and your voices. With Your News, you're not just a storyteller, you're a leader in your community. Whether you're covering local, state, or national issues, our platform gives you the tools to publish your stories, reach your audience, and make an impact. Imagine this. You become the journalist everyone in your town looks to for the latest updates. You report on what truly matters to your community, and you're not limited by outdated hierarchies or corporate interests. Instead, you're free to pursue the stories that inspire change, spark conversations, build connections. And it doesn't stop with your community. With Your News, your stories can reach audiences across the country. You'll be part of a network of citizen journalists, all working together to reshape the media landscape and return the power of the press to the people it was meant to serve. So if you're ready to be part of this movement and ready to take journalism back to its roots, log into yournews.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and click on the link that says Become a Citizen Journalist and fill out the application.
Sam, for people that's looking at this right now and they're saying, I go live, I report or I talk about stuff, but I'm not getting any traction in terms of audience capture, monetization, things of that nature. Can you talk to us and explain to us how that works in that domain that would bring people over to be a part of the organization?
Sure. Well, first of all, what we do is inevitable, Randy. The legacy media is crumbling, and lying has nothing to do with that. That certainly didn't help the cause. But at the end of the day, there's still a demand for news. It's just how people consume it has changed, right? And so YouTube created a product where everybody can be a broadcast journalist, right? So Randy, have you ever went to journalism school, broadcast journalism school?
No, thank God.
Yeah, okay, well, neither did anybody else on that platform, right, for the most part. Mm-hmm. Well, but here's what happens. You get on, and then the marketplace decides whether they like you or they don't like you. What we've created is a technology where anybody can be a news reporter. And that means somebody that's never been in the business before. And here's my prediction, as I believe I've told you before, Randy, the old guard is not going to be part of new media. What's going to replace them is going to be a citizen-powered press, a hyper-local news platform, exactly like what we have. But it's going to be your neighbor, Mary, who has never been in the news business, who everybody knows and loves and trusts, who always is outspoken at the city council meetings or school board meetings or goes to the high school football game and says, you know what, I'm going to sign up to be a news reporter. I'm going to write the story, and I'm going to share it out with Randy and everybody else I know, and you're going to go, can you believe what Mary just said? You believe that happened over there? Because she's there telling you guys what happened. That's a news reporter. Now, some people might say, well, I'm not a good writer. Well, here's the beauty. Anybody ever heard of artificial intelligence? Anybody ever heard of Chat GPT or Grok? All you got to do is take the notes, plug it into Chat GPT and say, write me a news story using these bullets. And once you get what you want, you then submit that article, and that's your story, and you share that with the local community. This is where it's all going. We're talking a complete decentralized news business. And by the way, the internet has decentralized literally everything. I mean, look at, you probably don't pay much attention to this, but I come from an investment banking background. Well, in order for you to buy Facebook, like, wouldn't you have liked to buy Facebook stock or Amazon stock in the beginning before it ever went public, like in 2005, right? Yeah. Okay, well, you had to be an accredited investor, and everything came out of Silicon Valley, and it was all institutional money. You never got a phone call, because if you'd have put $200-300 into that, it would have been worth a fortune. Well, today, through the internet, they've created platforms, not like Give, Send, Go, or GoFundMe, but equity crowdfunding sites where 100% of the people can make an investment. And so now you could invest in what you think is good. And that's the decentralized part. So all we've done is we've decentralized the news business, and we put the power of the press back in the hands of the people where it belongs. It's inevitable. Right? This is where it's all going.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because that was going to be my next question: is how can people, get into, say, investing into this platform? I know you're working on. Let me bring it over. Nico Ventures is there one of your fundraising platforms here? Talk to us about that. Yeah.
So Issuance Express is the equity crowdfunding platform that we're using. The holding company that owns Your News, the platform, is called Nico Ventures. It's no different than News Corp owns Fox News, right? But nobody calls it News Corp. News Corp also owns a bunch of other companies. So the plan with this was to make acquisitions on other verticals. But this is our equity crowdfund page. And when you go to this gives all the information as to what we're doing. And then if somebody likes it, like you'll see here, it says $2 per share, $200 minimum investment, $100,000 minimum offering, which that is, in order for us to take money out, you have to hit at least 100. And then we're doing a $1.2 million raise. And we've reached, you don't see it here, but I think the total dollar amount's about $465 that's come in so far. Right? So it just doesn't show on a phone for some reason. But this is where people could find out what we're doing, and if they like it, they could make an investment. It could be $200 and anywhere in between, all the way up to whatever, from the difference of where we are to what we, what our offering is. But the point is it's this platform, Issuance Express, which now allows everybody to become an investor. And what I like about this is, this is my personal opinion, Randy. I believe that the reason we're in the mess we're in today is because of the legacy media and because it's owned by institutional investors. There's actually only 6 people. Now, back in the 80s, there was over 500 independent news outlets. Today, there's 6, right? Wow. So it's much easier to control 6 people than it is 500. So we live right now in a world of centralized news, and everybody's seen the videos with Sinclair Broadcasting with the 50 TV saying the same thing at the same time. So what's going to change? You said it. Everybody goes to platforms because platforms allow public participation with millions of people, which drives a massive audience. What I am is a platform. So I could do local news right down to a specific city, like your kid's Little League game is sports news for that city, whereas the high school game is sports news for that market. So we could drill down right to the local, and then it's all by topics. It could be lifestyle, entertainment, travel, faith. It could be home and garden, food and wine. It could be, in sports, and think of all the sports, business, politics, science, and technology. It's endless. So you have all these different categories being fed. And journalists, when you get a job as a journalist, let's say you go to you apply at a business website or a place that does business news. Well, if your passion is writing about health, how are you going to do it there, right? So there's no jobs. What this allows is for people to write about what they're passionate about, or do audio or video, because we're all 3. We're audio, video, and print. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the legacy media is going to be gone, and what will replace it is a hyper-local, citizen-powered press. And the reason that we're using the equity crowdfund is because I don't want institutional money in this, at least at this early stage. I want the people to own the product. So that's why we've been raising money in small amounts and delivering it to the people. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think we're going to do this round. We'll follow it up with a higher valuation on another round. And then the next one, I'm looking to take it public.
Okay.
Because we currently have over 5,000 news reporters and a reach of over 1 million people.
Nice. And that's
yeah.
and thank you for explaining that, because I was going to say the more I keep saying content creators, but the more journalists that you bring on board, that expands, or I should say, that grows the outreach, the number of outreach, because they're bringing on their followers and what have you, and so that puts that grows the company in terms of its value, and saying, hey, if you look at how many people are logging into our website and looking at the different content, they may not only be just looking at that person's content, but they're looking at other things that they may be interested in. So it's creating this existential values based system that is making the company worth way more than what that person that is singularly out there doing. Kind of like it's like that. Is that the I guess you could say the gist of it, or is there more to it?
Yes. No. This platforms are actually pretty simple. Most people don't really, they don't look into how they're valued, but a platform with no users is worthless. Agreed?
Correct. Yes.
Right?
Totally
If Rumble didn't have one person on it, it would be worthless.
Yeah, it'd be garbage. Yeah.
So the only thing other than tech is tech. So the only thing that creates their value is going to be how many content creators they have on. And I'll give you an example. Rumble has 250,000 channels. So you have a channel on Rumble. Mm-hmm. Rumble's market cap is, well, the last I checked, it was $2.5 billion. When I did the math, it was 3.2. So it bounces around. But if you keep it at $3 billion and you divide 250,000, which is the amount of content creators, into the market cap, it's $12,000 an individual. I think right now it's about 11. But YouTube's 11,000 per. So you are worth 11 grand or 12, let's say between 10 and 12 grand on Rumble. That's what you're worth. So content creators that do news, because news is audio, video, or print, have a larger value than just a platform like X, which could have anybody. Those are less than $100. X is easy. Take the $46 billion he paid and divide the $600 million into the $46 billion. It's $75 a piece or something like that. But content creators, there's less people that report news than consume news. So they're the draw. So we're always going to have more people than YouTube or Rumble or even myself, because you can't have 2 billion news reporters. It's not going to happen. So, but those people are the draw. And I'll give you a perfect example. Mark Fincham, the senator in Arizona, that's for us. Mark has about 250,000 followers on X, and whenever he posts a story to us, he shares it on X, and you get 30, 40, 50,000 people reading that. This is how we get all of our traffic, is from our content creators. It's just that simple. So you're right. If I doubled my content creator, would double my traffic. That's the value.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And it makes sense. And for the audience today, I hope you're soaking this in. I know we're throwing around a lot of numbers and a lot of figures, but it boils down to what if you are a content creator and you're say you're reporting on something or you'd like to talk about something, this is the outlet. This is the platform to utilize for that. You're going to be subjected to censorship through YouTube. Rumble, you can get away with a lot of stuff, but there's still some subjectivity here and there. It just depends on somebody's jumping on there to report it. But all in all, because Rumble is Canadian based, they don't care. They just say, all right, whatever, and squelch you for a couple of days, but your stuff is still there. But for your news, Sam, are y'all subjected to the content, like you're a publisher, that law
for Section 230?
Section
230.
230. I was about to say 270.
No, so
287 is dealing with the ICE and sheriffs. But yes, 230.
Yeah.
230. Are you subjected to that?
No, we're no different than YouTube or Facebook. We're a platform, and we're a free speech platform, which is how I think it should be. And the marketplace decides what content they like or not. Look, it's no different than YouTube. YouTube, somebody could get on YouTube, become very popular, or somebody could go on YouTube and, why do you see channels on YouTube that last posting was 3 years ago? It's not because their bank account got too filled up. It's because the marketplace must not have liked them or whatever the reason was, and they just ultimately quit. So
Right.
we're the same thing. It's just the void we fill is the collapse of the legacy media, Randy. That's the key. Mm-hmm. And we're the only players in this space. So as I always tell people, from the conservative standpoint, I'm not going to sell you this. I mean, the legacy media has been lying through their teeth forever. Okay. Yeah. It's gotten so ridiculous. Okay. All that's going away. And what's going to replace it, as we discussed, is going to be a people-powered press. But all the information that could never get out will ultimately all get out, even on a local level. So if there's some information about the mayor in Omaha having, committing crimes, bribery, whatever it is, any local news reporter that's reporting on that information is going to get out. And the marketplace is going to be able to see this stuff. I mean, that's the way news was supposed to be, Randy. How we got away from it, I do understand it, is because if you want to control people, you control the information that's being delivered to them. So you really can't blame some people who are only, like my neighbors are in their 83, 84 years old. They listen to CNN. That's the only information they get. So they have no idea that somebody like you is actually broadcasting, telling a different side.
Right, and that has been a problem over the Thanksgiving break. In-laws' house, and I knew we was going to stay away from politics because we just don't align. But my father-in-law intentionally brought it up just to trigger him, and I had to chime in since the question was directed at me. So And I followed up with, I said, what news sources do you listen to? And this is like true story. And he listed out, he said CNN, MSNBC. And he said, I bet you just listen only to Fox. And I said, okay. I said, no, I don't listen only to just Fox, because I said, I do media stuff, and so I have to listen to and watch everything, whether I agree with it or not. So that runs, CNN, MSNBC, and BBC, Euro News. I say I prefer to watch European sector news because it's straight to the point. It's down the middle and everything else. So his head kind of just cocked to the side. I say you get your media from one source. And I said CNN and MSNBC. When I say one source, it's one-sided, and it's that side that you listen to. And that cultivated your mind to think a certain way. And I said, now, if I was to offer you an alternative to whatever narrative that you like to listen to, you're going to automatically dismiss it, or you're going to automatically shut it down because it destroys your worldview. This is why I can't talk to you about politics. And I was like, okay, I'm just saying, man. So this is where we at today, Sam, and with your news, and as I just showed the audience here, it's a plethora of different types of content, different perspectives, and everything else. So a consumer of media, this is a one-stop shop for them, and I truly appreciate the platform. I love it personally, and so because I go in there and I look at stuff and I'm seeing different things, and I'm like, oh, that's what happened with that story. Okay, cool. And you can just go on to the next article. And for the content that's on the website here, people who are putting it there, they're getting monetized based on the advertisers, the clickage, and everything else. Is that correct, or is it kind of like just talk to us about that?
Sure. No, so it works identical to YouTube. YouTube, people create a channel. Once you get enough followers, I think they monetize you. We monetize people right away. But As you grow your audience, once you get big on YouTube, they share in the ad revenue, and you make more money if you have 10,000 viewers than if you have 1,000, right? Now, they're going to be different advertisers. I mean, in the sense that video advertisers are much more expensive. It'd be more of the car dealers and stuff like that. What we have the ability to target is the ice cream parlor, who's never going to create a video ad and spend $2,000 or $3,000 on something like that. They're going to spend $10 for a little display ad or something like that. But the real money, Randy, is not in the national ads. That's where everybody thinks it is. It's in the local ads. And I'm going to tell you why.
Right.
When you sell ads on the internet, there's what's called the CPM rate, cost per thousand. And national ads, the going rate is exactly 1 penny. That's what you get. Now, the good news is on your desktop, we could put like 12 ads or something like that. And then on a phone, I think you put like 4 because you can't get the ones on the right and on the left-hand side. Yeah. But you get a penny. So if you have, let's just say 10 ads at a penny, you make a dime. The real money is in the local ads. I'm talking hyper local, because those local ads you get 10 times the money for. Joe's Pizza, who's advertising in one zip code in Chicago, doesn't care if he's paying 10 or 20 cents per impression. So you're talking about 10 times the money, because what's his bill going to be for the month, Randy? $20, right? That's the key. So what we're in the process of building is we're building the bringing on the content creators. Next, like we have national ads, but the next step is to focus on marketing to the small business owners all throughout the United States. So if you look at all our categories, you have, God, I don't even know how many categories there are. You know, if you get into sports, it gets crazy, but we could probably fit about 200 advertisers on here, national. Okay. But the hyper local ads, ours are on a best bid basis. So if you want the top right-hand corner and you're paying a penny and somebody's paying 2 cents, it bumps you, right? You don't go anywhere, you just get outbid. So the hyper local ads, the highest bidder. So by the time you sold, imagine having 70,000 zip codes to sell out, and all the little guys are buying the zip code ads. This could take 2 or 3 million advertisers. The scale is astronomical. So we're in the building phase of this, but ultimately, you know, this is going to be what the next mainstream media looks like, and that's why we're inviting people to become local news reporters. If you're already active in the community, you know, sign up to become a citizen journalist, start reporting the news.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, Sam, thank you for this plethora of information. I know we probably like inundated the hell out of the audience today. They're probably like, wow, what? Let me go look at this so I can digest it, you know, slowly, type of thing. And that's okay, folks. That's the intent. We wanted to, like, you know, make you drink from a water hose today, and get an understanding of how the media world is shifting, and this is the new dynamic that we're getting into. And I would say for the audience as well, even if this is not for you, you know somebody who this is for. And you need to pass along this information to them and say, hey, go to your news. It's easy to even remember, your news. Just go to yournews.com and sign up and become a citizen journalist and do your thing. But Sam, tell people what is in store. That's what the word I was looking for. What's in store for the American people, for the citizen journalists over the next couple months?
You mean with your news?
Yes.
Well, I mean, a couple months is kind of a short period of time, but if we could broaden that out a little bit. So here's what our plan is. So we've been onboarding content creators, and that's our focus. The advertisers on a national level, we have a bunch of them. I'm going to start bringing on a lot more. But the focus is to scale and grow this thing over the next year to where we have 20 or 30,000 news reporters. In the meantime, because I plan on finishing this $1.2 million round of funding in a, hopefully, knock on wood, a very short period of time. The next one we're going to do is a much larger one, but it's going to be like a $5 million, but the valuation is going to be much higher, probably about, you know, maybe instead of having a $2 offering, we'll probably have an $8 or $10 offering. And then the one after that is going to end up being followed up by an IPO where we raise a much larger amount of money. Now, remember I told you, Randy, that the content creators have a value of $10,000 to $12,000 per content creator?
Yeah.
So Rumble, which you never heard of until 2020, but it actually was operating in 2013. The reason they came into existence is because YouTube kicked you off, and they filled the void.
Yep.
Now, yes, I know exactly how it works.
Yep.
Yep. YouTube is the 10,000-pound gorilla in that space, just like eBay's the 10,000-pound gorilla in their space, and Facebook, and so on and so forth. And X is the 10,000-pound gorilla in that space. True Social, which Trump created specifically to get a voice to people because Twitter was censoring him. Mm-hmm. He had no idea Musk was going to buy it. But just to give you an example, Musk has 600 million users. True Social has 6 million. 100% of the people on True Social, which by the way, that's 1% of the 600 million. 100% of people on True Social have an X account. Yep. So basically, X controls the whole market. Why do you think he's going into cryptocurrency? Mm-hmm. It's because there is no market there.
Yeah.
What we have, there is no YouTube or Twitter in our way. We are that. So we have the ability to become the next mainstream media. So as we scale and grow this thing, remember, Rumble has 250,000 channels. You could look this up. What kind of monthly traffic do they get? The last one I saw, which was only last week, was 44 million people a month. So they have 250,000 people, which drives 44 million people. So what is that, like 1.5 million a day, something like that? Whereas I'm 1.4 million. But I have 5,000 people, not 250,000. Right. So YouTube has 2.7 billion visitors a month. 2.7 billion. Okay, but they have like 50 million content creators, so we're not even in their world. Right. Well, as we scale and grow this, and we get to like 50,000 content creators, some people might say, well, how could you fit them? There's 20,000 cities. It's 2.5 people a city. It's nothing. You haven't even started. Right? Not to mention, I plan on opening up Canada soon, and then we start expanding into other countries because this is going to end up becoming global. Yeah. The value prop, by the time you've got 50,000 content creators, this is worth 500 or 600 million, just like Rumble is. It's the same value. It doesn't matter, audio, video, or print. They're all the draw. It's the same value. So for people that are interested in investing, if you're ever looking to invest in something, you want to look to see if there's a void that's being filled, if there's a marketplace for this void, right? Mm-hmm. And who are their competitors? And is there massive potential? And here's what I can tell you. The legacy media is collapsing. There is nobody else filling this void, and the void is the 700,000 people I was telling you about that have nowhere to go, not to mention the millions of other content creators that we could bring on. And the sky's the limit. The growth potential is astronomical because just in the United States, 50 people a city is 1 million people, Randy. Mm-hmm. This thing could get up to multi-billions relatively quickly.
Yeah, you're right, and that's awesome. And that I'm excited. I'm excited for you because this. I've been a part of your news. 3 years now, somewhere around there.
Probably. It's when I believe it was when we met in Miami.
Yeah. So it's been about 3 years now, 4 years now. So I like I said, I love the content. I love the platform. And Sam, tell people where they can follow you, support you, and all that good stuff.
We certainly have an X page. We don't have a Facebook page. We have an X page and we have a True Social page. I would say, because myself, I don't really post a lot to social media. So for the content creators, we'd love to have you as one of our news reporters. You would go to yournews.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and click on Become a Citizen Journalist if you want to be monetized. If you're a PR firm or a nonprofit and you just have news you want to share with the community, there was a green button at the top of the page that says Submit Your News. We love that kind of content. And I'm looking for early stage investors that see the potential. And if you're interested in making an investment, you can go to yournews.com, scroll down to the bottom, click on Invest, and then you could learn about what we're doing. And if you like what you see, you can make an investment. It's very simple.
Boom. Boom, boom. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you. Hey, happy holidays to you, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, but all that good stuff, and be safe out there. And thanks so much.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, and looking forward to talking to you
All right.
soon. Be safe. Bye.
Thanks, Randy.
Yep, take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. That's Sam Anthony. Hey, y'all heard it straight from the proverbial horse's mouth. On how to get into this business and how to, not only make money but be a part of a revolution, a media revolution, and that's what I like to call it. It's a media revolution. The mainstream media, legacy media, they're dying off. They're trash. And it's all of them. Everybody that we have been traditionally watching over the years, they're falling off. I hate to say it. And I know you probably say, "Oh, I love my Hannity. Okay, yeah, he's falling off too." Sorry, I love you, Sean, but it is what it is. But the new generation is coming along. This is the platform that we're doing. We're doing YouTube, Rumble, Your News, Twitter, or X, and stuff like that. So you're aggregating your reach by hitting these different platforms, and this is one platform that's like a consolidated platform in a sense for all of the content creators and news outlets that want to report local stuff and whatnot. And so I'm excited for Your News and Sam and the rest of the team there, and I look forward to seeing your content on there soon. So, folks, I'm gonna jump up out of here. I got stuff to do today. I can't be on the media all day. So I will catch you all on sometime this week. I don't know. But y'all be safe and talk to y'all soon. I hope you enjoyed today's program. You can follow, like, share, subscribe on Spotify, Substack, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Your News. And also, you can download Let the Truth Be Told app on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Take care. God bless.